What up, unders? All right. Oh, I'm gonna DM you on Slack real quick. I have a question. Okay, there we go. It could be anyone requesting. I have all of your requests. I have all of your requests logged in a database. I'm gonna sell your data. All right. Something feels off with my keyboard. All right, import. Entity from ElectroDB. And we're gonna come down here and we're gonna create a new entity. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Const table, what was it called? Budget sync. I don't even remember anymore. Const splitwise. Const sync transaction entity is going to equal a new can't have my friends. Oh my god, I am incapable of typing. All right, we need what does our old sync transaction have on it? Let's see here. YNAB. Our old model is in here. We have this sync transaction. We probably want something similar to this. Yeah, we'll do it this way. So we need a amount, which is going to be type is going to be a number. Required is going to be true. What's this episode about? Indexes. We'll get the indexes. Indices. All right. We want a description. I hear myself talking. I thought I did. There we go. I was like, I swear I hear myself talking. Description. We want a number, or no, this is a string. This is going to be required. I wonder if we could model it as one single entity. That's because you have ears and you make noise when you talk. Get the hell out of here. All right. Sync transaction entity is going to have basically a lot of the same stuff this has. No, we want sync transaction. So this will be like expense or a payment. Do something like that. And then we have I need to go look at something quick. All right, I'm just grabbing some code on how to format timestamps. How did I do you? All right, got that. Come over here, minimize that. Blur. All right. All right, what's this thing have on it? There's no date. Is there a date time? There's a date time. What does date time give us? Dot format. Yeah. All right. Date time dot format. And the arguments are, oh, it uses the Intel International API for formatting. No, we're just going to yank to that, and let's go ask AI to write this. New window, not new window, we don't need a new window. What up, Seaweed? How we doing? Intel API JS format date. Oh my god, an American writing your year. It's because it's searchable. I'll show you. Hopefully we'll get to why this is good towards the end of stream. Actually, I can show you right here. In Dynamo, you basically search by doing string matching, and you build up like your own database engine. So for example, we're going to be able to search. Let's say I want to search for splitwise transactions. My primary key will be transactions, the transaction type, and then the sort key is going to be a string that will be the full date. But the thing with the primary keys and sort keys in Dynamo is you always have to give a full primary key, but you can give partial sort keys. So if the full sort key value is the date, year, month, day, I can say, give me splitwise transactions where the primary key is, transaction splitwise, and then select transactions by the sort key where the sort key starts with 2025. And that will give me all the transactions that are in a given year. Or I can say my primary key is transactions that have type splitwise, and then I'll give a partial sort key, and I'll say where the sort key starts with 2024/12, and that'll give me all of the transactions for a given year and a month, and you can see so on and so forth. It's almost like the correct way to write a date. Listen, I don't have strong feelings about this. All I know is it works better for Dynamo, this style. This is going to be year, numeric, month, 2-digit, and then day is 2-digit. Object literal, what? It literally says it's right there. Everyone sees it. I see it. I even get autocomplete. Is this a curried function? Datetime. Does this just return a... Yeah, it does. That's how we do it. Alright, so we'll just call this... we'll go to our prelude and put that in there. Unless I have something in here for formatting dates already. I don't. We'll say format function format date year. And this will take a date, and we'll say return and we'll say date time. Format and year, numeric, month, 2-digit, day, 2-digit. What did we do wrong here? Now it's upset the same thing. Date time format. I literally have no idea what the difference there was. sk date formatter. Oh, that's a function. All right, so we can ignore that. We're not gonna have an end date, right? And we're not gonna have an end date sort key, but we are gonna have a created at. And this guy, chat, is going to have a created at sk. Or do we want, we probably want created at and updated at SKs. Are we ever gonna wanna, we want something like this. I'll come down here and we'll paste this in, and we'll call this, we'll uncomment that. This will be created at sk for sort key, right? Let me get chat open. And remind me later. This is going to watch the created at field. Can I get a date from here? No. Watches that required, it's read only, it's hidden. This will be created at, do that, and now we can get rid of date time here. And this will be just format date sk. Yep. So now what this is doing, chat, is we're saying this created at sort key attribute is hidden, so it's not going to get retrieved when we query, but we are going to use it to as part of our sort key in Dynamo. We want to go back to GitHub, and I want to look at, where were we? Did I lose what I was doing? GitHub? Here we go. And we want what up, Akaya? I don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry. All right, we want in fact, we might even be able to model this as like one entity. No. Like we should do credit and debit. And then we want, we'll grab basically the same thing, right? We need Splitwise ID, Splitwise expense ID And we'll do, that's a number, right? I forgot these are so stupid. This will be YNAB transaction ID. I don't think we need these other ones because we can look those up. All right, that looks pretty good there. Spend my morning building an envelope budget system in Google Sheets. Nice. There's no better way than the envelope system. I like legitimately, sincerely think that, especially Americans, if more Americans did envelope budgeting, there would be more financial security. It's like one of the best things you can do, in my opinion. We're going to say this is going to actually be a custom attribute type, and we're going to do this credit, debit, and that'll be a string. There we go. Okay. Now, the best solution is to spend money without looking at your account until your card declines. Classic. Used YNAB last year, but got to cut the subscription because I lost my job. But really love the system. Can't wait to get back to YNAB. Yep, YNAB is a game changer. All right. That looks good. So our indices. Now let's come down here and let's go back to the, let's open, where did I, let's move that to here. ElectroDB, and we want our indexes. Under our indexes, our primary lookup method will be let's see here. Yeah, this is the primary index. All right, we'll come down here, and this is going to be a synced transaction. Synced transaction. And this is going to the PK is going to be field. It might just be empty. Or what? I think I did this wrong. Yeah, I did. We might do that. And then this will be our sort key. And our sort key, we probably want to search by we'll do type. So this will give us the ability to get transactions by credit or debits, and then we'll do created at SK. So this query pattern right here is going to let us do things like I want to get, let's just say PK is just like sync transaction, right? And then SK will be something like credit. I want to get all the expenses I've had, and then I want to get it for 2024, right? We can do that. We could also say I want to get all of my payments that I made. So that's generally when I owe Justine money. Why can't I, where the hell is, I don't even remember where my Octothorpe is. All right, it's R. Right? Or if I want to, what the heck? It's T. If I want to get all of my payments in October, I can do this, right? And if I want to get all of my, let's say I want to get all of my credits and debits for, let's just say February 2nd of this year, right? I would issue a query where we would launch two queries in parallel. Query 1 would be this one, and then query 2 would be, whoops, credit, debit, right there. So we would launch those in parallel, and that's how we would get all of the payments of all of the sync transactions for a given day. You just do two in parallel where you do this different sort keys. Actual, yeah. Oh, what is, I forget the guy's name that was working on Actual, but Josh Long? No, Josh something. I can see his face. I'm using Arc right now. So this pattern works pretty good here. The other pattern I want is going to be we're going to want to be able to I probably want two GSIs where one GSI is by Splitwise expense ID and the other one is by YNAB. So let's come in here and we can say by Splitwise expense ID, right? And this is going to be type. I don't know if we need type or not. Clustered. Right, that's more for when we're doing collections. We probably will want to do collections so they live together. In fact, I wonder if we should have the if we use a user ID and we make that the composite. Down. because we need a yeah, we do need a user ID. So we'll partition on user ID. This just gives us a unique right. Actually, we'll do budget sync user ID. Yeah. We partition that way. Yeah. So this will be, index is going to be GSI1. And the PK is going to be, GSI PK. And this will be GSI1 SK. And the composite is going to be budget sync ID, right? Or, Jesus, splitwise expense ID. And then the sort key, we probably want to do the same thing. Then we can do this. We can go here. And this will be by YNAB transaction ID. And this will be GSI2. So now we can easily search. I'm not even sure if we need. Yeah, I don't know what the deal in Arc is. There's so many nice features in Arc that I use a lot. Like, I love mini arcs. I love the profiles down at the bottom. I love the sidebar and like the pin stuff. If I could get a browser that had the left, like, I just want. I know some people don't like mini arcs, but I love mini arcs. I think it's one of the most useful features. I don't really want to switch to a Firefox-based browser because it feels like Firefox isn't getting developed very heavily. I really wish Zen would have built on top of Chromium. I think my dream browser would be if Zen ends up rebuilding on top of Ladybird once Ladybird's ready in a couple of years. That would be sick. Oh, the nice thing is we can this needs to have yeah, that actually works. I think that's going to be okay for now. So let's copy this, and we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to yoink that. We're going to come down here. And actually, let's get a little bit more organized. Let's come in here and say ElectroDB. Do that, and let's move this in here. Save that. This is going to change to synced transaction. We'll save that. We'll copy this, and then we'll go here, and we'll do splitwise expense, right? We'll save that, and we'll come in here, and this needs to be that, and same in here. Which file are we in? We're in sync transaction, splitwise expense.
Functions describe the world.
Remove that. Can remove that. Can remove that. Go back here. Save that. Delete you. Export that. Go in here. Do the same there. Do that. Back. Thank you, TypeScript. Up to you. TS update. Mason tools update. All right, all that stuff updated. In this file, I must have turned on like you can delete this in here. You can delete that. That looks good. That looks good. All right, splitwise expense. Splitwise expense. 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 Entity. This entity is a splitwise expense. All right, we'll keep the budget, we'll keep that, we'll keep that. I think it has a category, right? Well, we have the models here, right? Don't we? We have the models under splitwise, schemas, not a user. Is this it? Yeah, expense API. I have my opinion, but what's your opinion on Safari? I don't like the dev tools, so I don't use it at all. I would also be super stoked if they just open sourced Arc. I wish the dev tool was the only issue they had. Yeah, yeah. All right. This is gonna have a budget sync user ID. You probably want a lot of these same fields. Description. Probably needs a group ID. We won't have these. What a category ID. And this will just be a type. It is going to be a string. I don't even know what, do we need anything else on here? No. Probably want a group ID. And these are numbers because, let's say this is required, true. This isn't required actually. Right, category ID is optional. Yeah. Group ID, however, will be required. And this will be required, true. Right, group ID null, or in what case would that be nullable? Is that true, chat? How is this gonna be nullable? We can delete this. How do I delete this category? File. Workspace settings. Delete workspace. Delete. If we go to Splitwise and we're looking at this, I don't think we'll be in a case where we have a group ID that's not what's it called? Null. Oh, this is a good idea. I've got some ideas on how we want to model this. All right. Whoops. Let's do this, and then we'll use this. These are the things we can probably expect to have here. We have an amount, we have a description. I don't care about any of that. Don't care about that. It doesn't look like that's on there. What if we come on here and we say, we go to, let's go to Splitwise, and let's go to budget sync testing, and I'm going to add an expense, and we are splitting the gas bill. And we'll just say that's $120, and we're gonna split it. Anders plays 80%, I pay 20%. He's my sugar daddy, so of course he pays 80%. We come over here, and if we query that now, let's grab the ID of that. Can I see the ID of this? Makes sense, yeah, it does. I mean, you make the big bucks, buddy. It's only fair. There we go, expense ID. Throw that in there. We query on that. There we go. Did this categorize it automatically? Category, heat slash gas. We're going to use this for AI to categorize. Okay. And category is, it's not an ID. It's going to be, oh, it does. It has an ID. We'll just say category name. And this will be a string. If I could spell to category. What else do we want? Let's move some of these more important ones up. Amount, description, group ID. This will be Splitwise user ID. We can say created by user ID, and this will be a number, and it'll be required. Some Machinko. What else do we want on here?
Functions describe the world.
This must be my user. Yeah, that's me. So this array has 2. Yeah, so these are all the people involved in this transaction. My net balance. Yeah, so unders is owed $96. I owe $96. which that is tracked on this repayments field. Right, or actually, do I have that backwards? I might have that backwards. Yeah, unders owes 88. So that's not the whole running balance. That's just for that one transaction. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll do, we can throw in here like paid share. Do we want to do this actually? That would be to other people. This kind of captures what we're looking for there, right? What is important to capture here? What are access patterns? I would want to look up splitwise expenses by budget sync user. I would want to see, right, credit versus debits. Cost is 120. Right, payment is going to determine whether it's a expense or a payment, or a credit or a debit. And then created by user ID. And we'll have in fact, we could have that. We could have what up, Buffy? I owe you a response on Twitter. I saw your message in the middle of the night, and I will try to respond to you today. Or if you want to ask in chat, actually, let me reread your message now, and if it's a public thing, I will just respond to you right now. Or I'll just respond to you in general. Oh man, I owe you multiple responses. I missed multiple messages from you. I'm sorry. So your question about domain names, if you didn't figure it out already from, about teamname.vercel.app, that can work. As long as somebody else hasn't already used that, slug.vercel.app, you can basically have as many as you want. Also, just want to follow project manage. Hell yeah. Oh, sweet. Sweet, sweet. I will take a look at that code base because I'm actually super interested. I can't promise anything, but if I find time at some point, I'll go through and like I have the desire to code review it and give you guys some feedback, but I can't promise that I will get to that. But I would love to do that. That's a super sweet project that I will probably end up using. Depending on how far you guys get. That means I could like rip out my vendored Spotify stuff and just use your guys' stuff. One feature to nail down early and get right is OAuth and refreshing tokens. I would nail that down early so you don't have to think about it again, and it's baked into the very like core of the project. All right, we have category created out of SK. Yeah. We can get rid of view indices. This is going to be a splitwise expense PK. Yep, we'll PK on a budget sync user ID. And we'll come in here and we'll say, Jesus Christ, the dogs are annoying. We won't have these for our GSIs. But we are going to do let's see here. We probably want we probably want this repayment bit. Let's say we'll make this paid by user ID, and then we'll do like owed by user ID. It's going to be basically the same thing. And we'll yoink these, yoink those in here, do that. And we can have owed by budget sync user ID. And we can have, what did we do wrong here? This be a string. I'm just playing with modeling right now in my head. Budget sync. Let's make this, we're gonna make this account ID. rather than user ID. And then we'll have, in fact, that would remove the need for this because we can just have another lookup probably at some point. Owed by user ID, paid by user ID. And then we'll have paid share. And this will be a number and it'll be required. And then we'll do owed share. Right, we'll do that. Throw that there, do that. This owed share. Do that. And the net balance owed by user. We can get the net. We have the net. There's no reason to derive that. Is going to be a type number and required will be true. And now the sort key on here, we can do that, we can do that. We probably can sort by some other things to the sort key. So let me pop this open. What fields do we have on here? Is there any time where we would want to sort by group ID? Would that be important? The budget sync account ID is almost a proxy for that. For now, we could tack it on at the end. Or really, I'm not sure if we need a GSI on this right now. I'm trying to think about all the access patterns I would want to look up for this. I mean, I guess we could we could look up by paid by owed and have those two GSIs. What would you call the user when it's like the payee? What's the opposite of the payee? The payer and the payee? Debitor and creditor. SK is often used for sort key, yeah. Because down here, debitor and creditor. Payee. What if it's equal? What if you split it 50-50, you can't determine. It would want to be like the created by user. Paid share, owed share. Oh no, somebody's already paying it, right? Payer, paid user, owed user, paid by user, owed by user ID. Yeah. So we could have that. That would be a useful access pattern, actually, now that I think about that. We could come in here, and this would be by paid user ID. Paid by, paid by. And the composite field would be paid by user ID. And then we would want, what would the composite be? It'd be useful to sort that down by paid. Is that useful? I want to find all the transactions where that's not perfect. Let's sit on this for now. I don't necessarily think I need an index on this yet. Group ID would probably be useful, to be honest, but then again, by budget sync account ID is likely the proxy for that. Although, no, it's not. No, it's not. Because you could have, yeah, by group ID is a good one. So this will be by group ID. By group ID. This will be group ID. The sort key will be, we'll want probably created at SK, so we can get all the payments for a group and sort them over time. That's a good access pattern, actually. Yeah, I do like that, actually. Okay, so we'll grab this now, and we will make a YNAB transaction. TS, come here, save that, go in there, paste that in, import that, import you, and finally import you. great. And now let's go look at our payer payee. To and from. Ooh, that's better. We'll go, actually, let's go fix that before I forget. I'll forget about that. Oops, that's the wrong one. Splitwise expense. Paid by user. To from. Well, it's not necessarily, and it lines up with this, right? Paid and owed. I think I'm gonna keep that actually. I still don't know about the SK. SK is sort key. It's like super common kraut. So the way PKs and SKs work in Dynamo is in single table design. So if you use Dynamo right, you should be using it as a single table, and you can get ACID transactions that way. If we come and look at basically the whole thing with Dynamo is thoughtful string concatenation. And if you use PK and SK as your hash key and your sort keys, you then can put any value here. So you never want to do something like user ID as your primary key. You want to have a string value here, so you can put multiple different types of entities in a single table, and then use the value of the PK and SKs to determine and filter, right? So in here, like I can get transactions by type, right? Like I can get, this isn't exactly right, but let's say my PK is transaction, and then it'd be like splitwise, right? Primary key, or PK is partition key, sort key, or SK is sort key, and then your primary key is the combination of PK and SK. So partition key is basically an isolated shard. And like the unique identifier for all of the records related to a single entity type. And then your sort key is how you filter inside that partition. So let's say I'm going to go to my transactions that are splitwise transactions, and I want to get them all for this. This is going to make sense once we start loading data in here. Let me find a really good video on this by one of the guys I work with. He's definitely one of the best Dynamo people out there. This video will blow your mind. Like even like if you don't have any use cases for Dynamo, just from a pure engineering perspective, this video is so fucking cool. And like I had a ton of misconceptions about Dynamo until I watched this video. Like I assumed it was just like, you know, like Mongo or Cassandra and just another shitty NoSQL database, but Dynamo is sick. And it's very much, if you use it as a single table database, it's basically a relational database. Bro, how do you always play bangers? You just show up at the right time, low level. All right, let's get our entity designed for YNAB. We'll come in here and back to ElectroDB, YNAB transaction. We can delete a bunch of this. We'll come through here. We want to keep our created at. We can get rid of our GSI index there. This will be YNAB transaction. PK will be that. Yep, great. So right now we're partitioning all of our fields by collections by budget sync ID. So everything's going to be clustered together. So we can query for the budget sync account ID that is like my budget account or Justine's, or if I end up like turning this into a SaaS, that's how it's going to be partitioned. I don't think Cassandra's shitty. I think Cassandra's good. but I think Dynamo's better. They're similar. Why become so fun? This will be YNAB transaction entity. YNAB transaction. In fact, did I put entity in there? No, I didn't. Okay. So our YNAB transaction is going to have, you basically, like, the easiest way to state it is you basically create your own database engine with Dynamo. It's super sick. Ed, I really recommend checking out the video I linked. It will blow your mind, man. Like, Dynamo is not like one of the biggest mistakes I made early in my career was choosing Mongo. Like back in like end of 2015, early 2016 for a project, and I didn't know better. I didn't know anything about cap theorem. I didn't know what the consequences were of positive or negative of NoSQL versus relational. And then consulting for 6.5 years, I watched dozens of other companies make the same mistake where they went all in on a NoSQL data store up front and it bit them later. So I just had this really negative perception of NoSQL. Like I think like things like log structured merge trees and stuff. Like I think the underlying tech's cool, but I just had seen so many companies make mistakes. So like I just wrote Dynamo off, and then I took the time to actually learn about Dynamo, and like it melted my mind, dude. I went from a certified hater to like Dynamo's probably my favorite database technology. The mistakes that I made were that obviously I was a junior dev. I got put in a position of making technical decisions and didn't know better. And at the time, Mongo was like all the craze, right? Like Mongo web scale meme like came from this era of time, like 2015, 2016, 2017. Our data model became very relational. So we ended up doing basically transactions and joins and application memory. And our data models became insanely relational, and it became a nightmare. And then mistakes I've seen other companies make is where they go in on NoSQL early, and then they either end up in the same situation where you end up with very relational data models and you're doing the same things. You end up having what I call like God objects or God documents, where you have documents or entities that have dozens of fields on them that have been added by teams and engineers over time, and it ends up turning into like a world like protobuf where generally I very rarely see people versioning their document schemas, which is something nice that Electro does in Dynamo is it will version for you and help you do migrations. So then you end up with these documents that every single field is nullable, right? So then you're working in your code where like every single field you have to do a null check on it, because very rarely are people doing runtime type checking coming from the database. So everywhere through your application code out to the front end, you're always doing like, is this field null or undefined, right? Like it turns into a mess pretty quickly. And a lot of that can be avoided, and you can get literal ACID transactions using single table design with Dynamo. Like honestly, Dynamo is basically a relational database if you do it right. Brian, you should watch the link I shared too. Like it changed I still would never use something like Mongo ever again. Like I think Mongo is trash. But Dynamo has like I've been a staunch Postgres person for over a decade. I did a master's degree in data analytics. I've spent a ton of time in the relational world and like relational data modeling. I mean, data modeling in general like scratches my brain the right way, but especially relational data modeling. Yeah, but you should watch. Yeah, just generally the video I linked is just such a cool engineering video. Even if you don't care about NoSQL, highly recommend. I don't know what our sort key is going to be here, but we'll work on that. Credit debit, we probably still want that. And let's jump over to YNAB, and I want to just get a single transaction. Single budget. Let's go grab our budget ID. In fact, did I throw? Yeah, we have a budget ID in there. Great. So let's get transactions, date, list transactions, and this is gonna get our bearer token. So this should have our API key, our params. We don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Let's put in our budget ID here. Budget ID, and this should give us our transactions, right? Yeah, there we go. And let's look at this data model. I want a payee name work. I don't want a payment. These are all... Hold on, let me go make a transaction quick that will reflect a real one better. No, I'm telling you, Ryan, you have the same misconceptions I had about Dynamo. I promise you this will change your mind. Because I would have, like 2 months ago, I would have said the same shit. Like, I swallowed my pride and I was like, I was way fucking wrong here. All right, let's just make a transaction here where we say we're gonna pay, let's say Vercel, and yeah, we're gonna buy a domain, and we'll buy a domain for $7. Save that. And let's come over here. Let's just say we have $20 budgeted to that, right? Great. So that should give us a transaction we can look at. And if we yeet that, we'll get, let's just grab the transaction ID right here. Copy that. And then we'll go to get transaction by ID, single transaction. And we'll come in here. Transaction ID will be that. Budget ID will be budget ID. Unauthorized, right? This is API key. There we go. All right. That's interesting. Then we have a list. All right. Oh, I know what we forgot over here. This needs an expense ID. wall, of course. How did we forget that? That's probably the other axis pattern we want. In fact, no, we'll make that part of the sort key. Changes. It changes. Oh, I fucked this up too. This will be GSI1 PK. This will be expense ID. Sort key will be, I don't even know if we need a sort key on that.
Functions describe the world.
And with these changes, this will be GSI1 SK. In fact, I wonder if expenses are shared by users. They probably are. So we'll do a so we could have potentially two. I guess this will be budget sync account ID. And then this will be GSI2, GSI2 SK. Yeah, there we go. All right, so we have some indexes there. Okay, that looks better. Over here, we need transaction ID. Transaction ID is going to be type string required is true. What else we need in here? We have an amount. We'll have cleared. No, I don't want to worry about keeping cleared state. Payee ID will be good. Payee ID. Is going to be I think you freaky. Dude, diet was huge when I was at low level. I think you and I are the same age. I just turned 32, so there's a good chance we were in college at the same time and had very similar experiences. Graduated in 2016. I graduated in 2015. The good old years. I honestly feel like our age group got like the last like traditional college experience because I look at like what college is like today. Like I help advise my fraternity nationally, and like it's just not the same as it was 10 years ago. We'll add a category ID. Category ID. Ooh, deleted is probably. If we delete. Good morning, Winnie. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Bodhi. You want to come say good morning? Up? Yes, good boy. Good morning. Bodhi, say good morning to chat. Say good morning. Hi, chat. Good boy.
Oh, you bumped
Bonk.
your head. You bumped your face.
What year are you, Dylan? And what is your mother's maiden name? Wall. All right.
I'm not going into the office today,
Okay. Sounds good.
so I'm gonna need you to go with me on an errand.
Where?
Walmart.
Oh, okay. We'll do that tonight.
Okay. I'm going back to the gym tonight.
Okay.
But after?
Just write what you want and I'll do it after work. You don't have to go. I'll just go.
How?
Fuck, that's right. You don't have your car.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, I want to look at things, so.
I don't want to look at things.
Well, I mean, not like look, but like the Valentine section I want to look at.
Okay.
And hide
So I want to optimize this model a little bit for AI because I want AI to auto categorize these payments for us. Like I'm trying to automate my budget as much as possible. So I think we're gonna do this thing and we're gonna have like this we'll do this for category 2, right? So we'll come on here and we'll say this is gonna be pay name.
I also just wanted to say I see what you mean.
What?
I see what you mean now.
Oh yeah.
It's really bad.
It was so annoying last night.
It's so
One
bad.
of the dogs, I don't want to say who, but it's the odd one out that doesn't look like the other two.
You be nice about him.
Shit on the patio last night,
It's still outside.
and I was grilling, and I wasn't looking because, like, why would you expect a dog to shit on the patio? And I was wearing my house moccasins, and I fucking stepped in his dog shit on the patio and tracked it everywhere, and then I had to clean
On the
my
patio, not inside.
Yeah, not inside, but still. Yeah, it was there. We don't have good light on the patio right now.
And also, I don't think you were looking, anyways.
No. Your card should have an expiry date as well. Do you have a doc about this project? This project is just syncing transactions between You Need a Budget and Splitwise. That's what Justine and I use to manage our finances together.
Call an Uber.
Sounds like you get some lights. Oh my god. It's fair. It's fair.
I would like it to be known. I mean, you're probably already assuming, but I laughed. I thought it was funny. Have you heard of Monarch Money?
What?
Have you heard of that?
No. That feels more like
For couples. Oh, that's a budgeting. We use YNAB.
it's similar.
Yeah.
It does look like it does envelope.
For couples.
That's all right. I've been using YNAB. I don't like Mint because Mint is reactive rather than proactive or backwards looking, where YNAB, it uses the envelope system, so you only budget money you currently have on hand. You don't forecast. I think any budget system where you forecasting is useful, but it's not useful for budgeting. They're separate things, and apps like YNAB, or not YNAB, apps like Mint had you forecast your budget, which is a guaranteed way to fail.
I gotta go, but Kraut deserves a timeout for that.
Pay the dog back and let him step in your poop next to him. I think that's a great idea, Kraut.
No.
Honestly,
No.
I think you're onto something.
No.
You're onto something. I'm rich, so I don't need to budget. You should read the book The Millionaire Next Door, Ryan. Some of the people that need to budget the most in the world are people that are wealthy and rich, because it's something like, the book's now a little out of date, but I'm positive it's still true. But something like 70% of like millionaires still live paycheck to paycheck because they inflate their lifestyle, which is crazy. All right. The Dealionaire next Twitch stream. All right, I think this should be, we probably want to count name too.
Functions describe the world.
Why not? Like, we have the extra data. Doesn't hurt. Actually, that might. And we probably want to do by, what were our other types by? Our splitwise expense. We have by expense ID. In fact, we should have a budget ID. Does this have a mount? I think I like skipped a mount. Yeah, I did. Dumb. It's gonna give it to you. Type will be a string or number. Required is true. I'm trying to like think about the access patterns I need here. The Dealinaire next Twitch stream. I'm going to work until I die because I have no retirement savings. Oof. Can't relate in European. The best thing I ever did for myself was hyper focus on personal finance in my early 20s and started saving and paid off my student loan debt because I am now reaping the benefits. Because I was disciplined in my early 20s, it is now paying off immeasurably in my early 30s. Can't relate in ADHD. Dude, when you get a hyper focus, it's superpower. Everything else, what are the benefits of what? My financial discipline in your early 20s? But can you fill your room with $1 notes? Probably not. The benefits which compound growth. So I I started contributing to retirement accounts when I was 19 at my first internship. I focused on aggressively paying down my student loan debt right when I got out of college, and I got out of debt by 23 or 24. Then slowly worked on maxing out my 401k, IRAs. It's an unpopular thing in the United States, but I have a decent amount of money in permanent life insurance that are maximized for cash value. And because I've focused on all those things, I have like a decade of compound growth in all of those assets. Yeah, I'm just very financially secure and I don't have to worry about money. I have a nice safety or emergency fund. I don't live paycheck to paycheck. Yeah, just the best thing I could tell a 22-year-old engineer is pay down your debts aggressively and save for retirement. I mean, some of the money I can't touch till I'm 65, right? Other things I can use as collateral. Like I can use my IRAs as collateral. I can take loans against myself on my permanent life insurance, which is a interesting property of it. and it grows tax-free. But because the most important thing I could tell basically Americans in general is like get a month ahead in your expenses. So like first priority is build up like an emergency fund of like $1,000, right? Just build that bucket of money up and don't touch it. And then the next thing is sit down and figure out what you spend a month and what you save a month. Add those two numbers together, and then you're going to save up to that amount. And then when you have that amount in a bucket of savings, you will, the next month, you will spend from that bucket of money. And then from that point forward, every paycheck you get goes to the following month. So that's how you break the paycheck to paycheck cycle. You save up a month of savings and expensive costs. And then when you hit it, you start spending from that bucket of money, and then every paycheck goes towards the following month. So you can always pay bills right when they come in. The other piece of advice is things for like recurring payments that are either like quarterly, biannual, or annual. Save up for those every month. So if you have like, a car insurance bill due in August, right? Every month, take your car insurance bill, divide it by 12, and every month put that amount into savings. So when you hit August and your bill comes, it doesn't just train wreck your month. You already have the money sitting there to pay the bill. My safety net, my explicit, my actual just like cold hard cash savings fund amount is about 3 months of expenses for us. And then I also, my permanent life insurance is like a secondary fallback safety net, which is way, way higher than 3 months of expenses. I'm not even listening to it, it's just good vibes. It's okay to be gay. Honestly, chat, it's okay to be gay. Anyone that says it's not okay to be gay can get the fuck out of this stream. All right. So I'm not sure we want our default index for YNAB transactions to be on type. I'm not sure that's super valuable. Maybe it is. Yeah, I guess we can do the same thing, right? Full gay or no gay? I have a recording of you from yesterday saying not my pussy. Yo, it's not my pussy, dude. So I think I want in here, I think I want to do we want to be able to fetch all of our transactions that I think we want by category ID. Or really, the more important one is by payee ID. Because this is going to help us. So when we enter Splitwise, generally it's going to have a payee or a category. How do we want to do this? So we have that the composite will be on payee ID, and then payee ID. Maybe we go by category ID next. In fact, I don't know what. Actually, this would probably be good to get created at SK in there. Then we can filter transactions by payee, by created at. Not my lover. We're optimizing AI for this. We're optimizing the data storage so we can give data to AI's system prompt easier. That's what I'm kind of thinking through right now. Composite. All right. Now we want to work on clustering. So we'll say this is going to be a collection, and we'll say transactions. And we're going to say this is going to be clustered. Type is going to be clustered as true. So these are going to put all of our transactions together in, this will make more sense once we have actual data, but by clustering on a collection, it's going to look at this and it's going to basically group together all of our entities by their partition key. So we'll have basically like our splitwise transaction, our YNAB transaction, and our sync transaction all lined up together in order in the database. So we're going to yoink this, and then we're going to go over to here, and we're going to put that on there as well. And we're going to do the same thing on our synced transaction, splitwise transaction. Yeah. Okay, that looks pretty good. YNAB transaction. Okay, and we have the cluster there. Okay. And we did add the amount, right? Yes. Okay. So now let's make our service. And we'll just call this yeah, we'll just go in here, and then we need to grab, I need to blur real quick. D0 is not my lover. One second, chat. Just grabbing how I do this. Source. There we go. All right. Paste this in here, and we're gonna remove that, and we'll come over here, and we will go back in here. All right. Okay. All right, I'm skipping this song. My skip hotkey is not working. That's awesome. All right, so this is how we do that. The table is, what did we call the table? I think it's just gonna be budget sync. In fact, you know, I realized yesterday that I don't really need, I'm probably not even gonna use SST. Like I should have just used, my normal thing here. We'll sign in budget sync dev. DynamoDB. Like I don't need, that's a Just gonna delete that. Or can I rename it? That'd be great if I could just rename it. Actions, update settings. Can I change the name? I don't think I can change the name. Yeah, so we're just gonna delete this. Paste that, delete that. And then we're gonna create a table and we're gonna say this is gonna be budget sync. Partition key is gonna be PK, SK. Table class, read write capacity, on demand. Yep, that's great. Tags, I don't need any tags. Can I not add GSIs here? I should sync PK, SK. Sure, create table. And then we want to, let's refresh. Budget sync, let's go in here, collapse that. We're gonna create an index. This is gonna be GSI1, or GSI1 PK. This will be GSI1 SK. This is just gonna be GSI1. Yep. Sure. Create index. And then we want GSI2 PK, and GSI2 SK, and this will be GSI, Jesus Christ, 2, create table. Come on, you can do it. I believe. Did it happen? Did we get our indexes? It didn't. Fucker. GSI2 PK. GSI2 SK. This is just GSI2. Create. Why is this taking so long? Whatever. All right, we can get rid of a bunch of this stuff. I just wanted to see how I did this. It's just type of, and this will be ElectroDB service. We can get rid of this, and we can get rid of that, and we'll come up here, delete that. This will be to E, we'll just make that I. And this will be type of sync transaction. This will be synced transaction. I don't know why this is struggling to make our second. This will be splitwise expense. And the last one is YNAB transaction. We get our document client. And then the new service, this is going to be sync transaction, and that will be sync transaction entity. And then we have splitwise expense, and that will be splitwise expense entity, and then YNAB transaction. What's this upset about? Oh, entity. There we go. So when we have a client chat, we can do things like, let's just pretend we have a client here. Declare const client is going to be a electrodb service, right? We can do like client dot collections, right? And I can do transactions, and then I can do, what is it? So like that dot in here. This will be, I can put in budget account ID, right? Let's just say we have that. So this will get me all of the transactions in that collection, right? And in our collection, it's going to be basically get me all of the transactions, these 3 transaction types for this account. And then if I want to say, I only want the credits across all of these things, that's how I get them, right? I can also come down and I can say like, actually, I want all of the debits where the created at SK is going to be like, I wanted all of them for 2024 and then the month of, I don't know, October. That will get me all of my transactions that are debits in the month of October for a particular account. And it's going to be super, super fast because they're clustered. Our partition key is on this. We've basically built ourselves a tiny relational database engine on top of DynamoDB. And we get ACID transactions too if we want them. So now that we have this, we want to go and we need to install our document client, right? Audio Rorschach. I'm actually going to grab a water and stand for the rest of the stream. I'll be right back, chat. I'm going to take a leak too. All right. Let's see if we need to figure out what I'm talking about. There we go. Now we have our 2 indexes. All right. Great. That's good. Back to ElectroDB. Getting started. Quick start. we need to install this. So yeah, I'm realizing we wasted a bunch of time on SST yesterday because we don't need it at all. I need to get rid of Nix, dude. I need to find some time to actually get rid of Nix. All right, so we have that installed. We need to go ahead and make, in fact, we don't even need, we should just do this with effect. So let's go ahead and do, we're gonna comment that. Okay. All right, I'm gonna try to speedrun this. I do not have a standing balance board. I do have a like a medicine ball that bounces. I haven't used that for a while. All right, let's speed run making this effect. We'll copy what we did in here. You basically want something like this.
Functions describe the world.
All right, let's think about how we want to set this up, right? We can come on here and say static make is going to equal a effect.gen function star that import effect, and we need to figure out how we're going to make a I don't know the docs for this thing. We'll ask ChatGPT. How can I configure / connect AWS SDK Dynamo client in TypeScript? The access patterns are just going to be convenient over time. I mean, they're going to be logging every transaction between Justine and I. And also, I have ambitions to make this a SaaS. I use OpenAI just because I have a license or a license for it through work. How can I configure it to use a particular profile?
Functions describe the world.
Yeah, we need this guy. From any. And the other one was using environment variables. Can we use only env variables? All right. So let's go ahead and just, we're going to come in here and we're going to close this and we're going to get config is going to equal yield star config dot all. And we're going to come in here and we're going to get AWS access key. And we're going to say this is going to be a config dot, I'm just going to redact that because I don't know if that's sensitive or not. My fucking music switching doesn't work. All right, I'm gonna go pick some music to do the last 10 minutes here. Where is the song I'm looking for? I don't know who just put in September, but we're going to listen to a different version of September. We'll put that on next. All right. It makes me feel somewhere. Then we want secret access key. Oh, this is ID. Secret. Grab that, and then we need AWS region. Config dot string AWS. You and I'm so sorry. Isn't that what we installed? Oh. And we need a document client. Import from what's this have on it? D.document. How do I get a document client? Am I dumb? I swear this just told me. Oh, we want lib DynamoDB too. Gotta own the libs too, chat. It's funny because I would get owned then. Fun install. I don't know. My AI game's not up to date, Kraut, to be honest. Oh, the keyboard ASMR is not working? I have to fix that. You got your Voyager? Hell yeah, Ender. How you liking it so far? I need both of these. This will be to the dance floor. Bro, I don't care about all this. Hard coding credentials. Nice. So we just have to give it the credentials are picked up. Ah, amazing. Amazing. We'll do const. And then this will be TDB client, doc client. This is our electro error. Can't find name client. Right, that's gonna get our service. Okay, there's that. And now we can get at that. So we can come in here and we can say return use client is service. Actually, you can just call this client, right? Yeah, we'll do that. All right, so we can make a and then we'll come in here and we'll say is going to be static. Default is going to equal layer dot effect this dot make. There we go. We have that now. Excellent. And to test, we're not gonna have time to test. Let's go ahead and set up our main layer. In fact, we can just put that in main, right? Or we'll come in, yeah, no, we'll come in here. And we'll say main layer. Let's move this up to the top. And we want to provide merge. Do we really need to merge that? There we do. Provide merge that. We want to add layer dot provide merge our Splitwise Splitwise client. Is that in there? That's hard to get. We just call it Splitwise. Yeah, default. We want our ElectroDB service. Yeah. All right. All right, so tomorrow we can actually get ready to start writing the sync. And in fact, I might actually do this tonight. I need to get back to doing R10 tomorrow. So I'm gonna stream tonight, I think, and work on getting the sync actually running. Yeah, let me make sure. Do I have a meeting right at 10? No, I don't. Great. All right. Excellent chat. Yeah, I'm gonna try to stream tonight and get the sync going. At least it doesn't need to be perfect, just so it can match parity to what my old script's doing. And for anyone that's just showing up, the thing we've been working on building is a script that syncs between Splitwise right here, which is a way to split transactions between people, and you need a budget, which is how I budget, and keeps them synchronized and up to date. And it's an automation I use a lot. I currently have a script that's running doing this that is over 4 years old. I think I saw the original commit was in 2017. But the way I built this is a bit naive and is error prone. And when errors happen, it takes a lot of time for me to fix. So we are going to go through and rewrite this. And right now we've rewritten a bunch of the foundations. We've redesigned the database using Dynamo. We're going to use AI to categorize transactions eventually. Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm very excited about this. But I got to get to my day job and help our good friend Unders. And we don't have access to O3 yet, I don't think. I don't help. That's what he says. That's what he says. Oh, camel? Oh, camel, my camel? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we're going Oh, camel. Big Oh, camel day. Oh, camel, my camel, chat. Eduardo is one of the best OCaml devs I know. I'll catch you tonight or tomorrow, chat. Thank you all for hanging out, as always.